Look at this, it's my friends Tic and Tac, as they're known, en français. But wait a minute, that's no 30, that's a 50. That's the Walt Disney World Castle. And this, well, it's the Sometimes Vlog, yeah! It's a vlog that happens sometimes. Welcome back to the Magic Kingdom. There's just no other place quite like it. The most magical place on Earth. I've seen people get engaged this morning. I have seen people, well, actually I saw someone fall out of a wheelchair this morning. That wasn't quite comfortable, but she was okay. She was okay. I've seen people smiling and dancing in the streets already. I've seen Mickey and Minnie cruising down Main Street, the Dapper Dance coming out and singing. It's a magical morning here in the Magic Kingdom. Maybe I should explain what's going on. So, as many of you know, I went to Yuma, Arizona, a couple of weeks ago now. And then right after that, it was back to Disneyland. We were doing a little filming out there. We were filming Splash Mountain at Disneyland. And then that got me thinking about coming out to Florida and doing Splash Mountain here for its closing day. So we flew out to Florida. We did Splash Mountain. We did a week out here at Walt Disney World. And then I flew immediately right back to California to do the 100th anniversary, the Disney 100th anniversary, the 100 Years of Wonder kickoff out there, and the opening, which was on the same day, of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disneyland over in Toontown. So we went over and did that, and then bam, I was immediately on a plane for France. I ended up in Disneyland Paris for just one day, but a couple of days in the beautiful city of Paris over there. Look at these flowers, by the way. Speaking of beautiful, there's something about Florida and the color. There's something about the sun here that is completely different from California, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I flew to Paris, I flew to France, big old time change, big old everything. Isn't that a beautiful sound? Can you guys hear that? And then immediately back here, or back to the United States anyway, to California. So a huge time difference over there. For 1 week, during which I went to Universal Studios' brand new Super Nintendo World. I was there the day before opening for a media preview. So there were lots of annual pass holder previews and I'm assuming employee previews, but I was there for a media preview, which is the day before opening. So not the big celebration where they kicked it off on a stage and confetti, but we'll talk about Super Mario Town another time. And now I immediately the next day got on a plane and flew here, back to Walt Disney World, to the Magic Kingdom. Of course, this time I came here with Allie, my fiance, or my little wifelet. And people have been asking, like, where is she? People have been leaving weird some people like trolly rude comments like, oh, trouble in paradise, where's your lady friend, you know, and all that kind of stuff, because they just haven't seen her. Some people are like, is she dead? Because why wouldn't she go to Paris if she was alive? It's because she's back in school. She just started up her classes again after all her surgeries and all her recovery. She just started back up in her fashion design program again in college, so she was staying out of those first couple of trips, including Paris, sadly. But I was able to bring her here to Walt Disney World, where I was invited. I was brought with that big same group of people I was in Paris with, out to Walt Disney World for exactly 2 days. And we had to pick between the first weekend I'm here or the second weekend I'm here, which is right before I fly home. I said, come out with me at first, see the guys. We'll go to some restaurants that most people can't go to, if you know what I'm saying. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, we were invited to go and do that. So I was like, come with me during that. So she came out here, and little did we know, and little were we paying attention, but it was apparently President's Day weekend this weekend. And so this place was, you think this is a lot of human beings? You should have seen the size of the crowds yesterday and the day before. So Allie flew out here with me on a Friday, the day after Nintendo Town, the day it was actually opening to the public. We flew out here and we spent 1 day with our friends and then 1 day together, rushing around this place, going wild, filming everything we could possibly film. By the way, let's walk and talk. Let's walk. Let's go on some adventures. Let's not just stand in front of the castle and blab. Let's go see a little bit of the park. But yeah, so we ended up doing one crazy day where we did tons and tons of parks. So because we were invited with some special tickets for entry into special places and seeing special people over here, that's as clear as I'm allowed to be. We were able to get these fast passes, and so we were able to do lots of stuff while Allie was here. So we got on Guardians of the Galaxy. That was her first time on the new Cosmic Rewind over there at Epcot, and she loved it. She's gonna probably refer to that as the Chris Pratt ride forever, because as many people do, she loves Chris Pratt. And then We went on Frozen, we went on Ratatouille. I'm trying to remember all the stuff we did over there. And then we headed to Hollywood Studios, did Rise of the Resistance and Rock and Roller Coaster, which was supposed to shut down, I think, the next day, but didn't end up shutting down. I think they're going to keep that open, at least through the holiday weekend. But it's supposed to undergo a major refurbishment. Oh, look at this. Adventureland. Don't forget Abu. Look at him. Oh, yeah. Adventureland, the bridge. It's getting a little crowded right here. It's one of those times where you have to take your steps very carefully. But here we go. Into the wilds of Adventureland. Oh, look at that building. I wonder what's in there. I definitely wasn't in there the other day. That's all I can say. Look at this. This is amazing. This is a fiberglass copy, obviously made from a mold. But the person who carved this was my old buddy, Leroy Schmaltz. Probably off of a design. Actually, you know, this could be a Rolly Crump design. It's hard to tell. But Leroy does a lot of the similar stuff and sometimes has carved Disney's designs into reality. But there's Leroy Schmaltz all over Disney World. And you never can tell. Oceanic Arts did a lot of work over here. Oceanic Arts, of course, the legendary company. And Leroy Schmaltz, the godfather of Tiki, who I knew. If you guys have never seen those videos, go check out my Oceanic Arts videos because they built a lot of stuff for Disney and other tiki bars, legendary places around the world. And Leroy, very sadly, this past year, passed away, moved on, or went to heaven, as he would have told you, and is no longer with us. But his work is with us, and it's been very inspiring going around and seeing my friends work. Still alive, still inspiring people, filling people with joy and wonder. Oh, look at that, a little Mickey balloon out of flowers on the ground. Even though he himself has discarded the body, as it were, and moved on to some other place that we can't get to. Not yet, anyway. Not soon, hopefully. Oops, sorry. I'm going to come through right here. Anyway, look at this. Adventureland. Adventureland at Walt Disney World. Now, I've always been a big Adventureland fan. Oh, I never saw this. In all the times I've been here since the 50th started, I never saw the orange bird back here hiding on this little terrace. Don't you wish you could just take a seat right there? Don't you wish you could just hop this little fence and just take a rest, put your feet up? Not yet. It's just morning, my friends. It's just morning. We're just getting started right now. Don't think about resting. Anyway, Adventureland has always been my favorite land. I've always just loved the jungly atmosphere and the sort of choose your own adventure. I love how Adventureland has always been sort of a hodgepodge of South Seas and Africa, South America, just kind of any kind of jungle adventure theme rolled into one land, one place. And here, obviously, they have some Moroccan and maybe North African influences going on. Obviously, Aladdin would be more Middle East, but pretty much, oh, and then of course you have some sort of Melanesian influence, which is, so there's Polynesia, which you think of, Hawaii, Samoa, Fiji. Then there's Melanesia, which would be like Papua New Guinea and places like that. Lots of the, what we think of more as the Asian Pacific Islands, the southern Asian Pacific Islands, and then the Melanesian people down there. So lots of different influences in this Adventureland. I think at Disneyland, it's mostly New Guinea mixed with Polynesian islands for sure. A lot of Hawaii. Hawaii was very popular at the time Disneyland first opened. And then by the 70s, you just had a lot more influences from around the world. So this Adventureland is just takes the globe-trotting element to the next level. Because obviously you see we have a pagoda over here. You see these pointed roofs that are very much inspired by New Guinea, but then they have sort of these horned cows on top, which is a whole different element. You have stuff that almost looks South American mixed in, just almost, or I'm sorry, Cambodian elements and things like that. So just a real hodgepodge of pieces of real influences mashed together to create something that doesn't actually exist anywhere in the world. It only exists in the Disney world. I just love the way it looks in Florida. There's something about the sunshine, like I was about to blow it earlier and say in front of the castle, but look at how much more vivid these colors are here. I mean, even on camera, I love coming to Disney World because everything pops. The water pops, the otters pop. The colors just pop out at you from everywhere. And it's true in real life as well. It's not just on camera, it's not just on film. In real life, it's even wilder the way everything just pops. It's so bright. It's so crazy out here. It's gorgeous. Okay, we're gonna head towards Frontierland. I'm trying to decide whether we go the Pirates way over here, or if we head into Frontierland While I'm deciding, look at this. Look at, you got these giant tiki guys over here. People call them tiki guys, but they're really giant drums. Spirit drums, I would say. Very New Guinea influence, very Melanesian influence. And they're over here, but you can call them tiki drums if you want. Over here spitting on people and fogging it up. And of course behind here, let's go back there if we can. Sometimes they're using it for overflow line for the Jungle Cruise and we can't get back there. Oh, look, we got a big group over here. Hello, group. Let's see if we can squeeze through the stroller handles of the big group for the families. Ah, yes. Over here, just beyond the stroller parking, we've got a very beautiful view of the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse and, let me see, the giant waterway. That's one of the other things I love about here. Whoop! Pardon me. You got the double stroller over there.
Yep.
Let's see if I can help you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, no problem. Woo! He had the big giant double stroller. He was trying to get out of this little crack over here. But this is what I love about Disney World too, is the waterways. So the colors, the waterways, and these little areas over here. And this is stroller parking, so it's a little awkward to get to right now, but these little nooks and crannies, as big as it is and as crowded as it is, and it's very busy this morning. No, I wouldn't say crowded, but busy, very busy. As busy as it is, Disney World is so huge, Magic Kingdom is so much bigger than Disneyland, that when Disneyland is crowded, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You're putting up with people. It's like the New York subway. But here, they built it because of that reason with so much space, so many little nooks and crannies. Right now it's being used for strollers that you can always kind of get away and have a moment to tap back into your imagination and look at this with wonder. There are two ways to look at Disney parks. I say this all the time. I'll probably say it many more times in the future. You can come here and go, well, I paid $100 and I want my well, not 100 anymore, but just for the sake of argument, I paid $100, I want my $100 worth of entertainment, and I'm hot and I'm sore and I don't understand, this is grumpy and da-da-da-da-da-da. Or you can look at it like sort of the privileged pass holder, getting numb to it kind of a look, where you're like, this is my place and this is my home and I like to come here and it's my house and everything is, oh, look at that beautiful flower. And everything is just here for me, and if it doesn't please me, then I'm angry, it let me down, or some kind of thing like that. Or the best way to look at it is to be excited that you're like, oh my gosh, we're in Disney World, we're in a place that people would love to be at, and to try to tap into your imagination, which can be difficult, I think, for adults, to sort of stop, like look at a waterway like this, find a little quiet spot, look at the bubbling water and the weird pirate game stuff and all the props and things, and just imagine that you're in some tropical place and there's the Swiss Family, and that was their actual tree house, and there's magic carpets here, and there's a boat off into the jungle rivers of the world departing right here. And that way when you're in line, you're not thinking, oh, I'm in this stinking line, a bunch of smelly people here for President's Day. No, you're thinking, oh, I'm going into to the, what do you call it, depot for boats. You're going over to the wharf, the dock, the loading area, the office. We're going to take an excursion into the jungle. We're in line to prepare. You see all of the stuff on the walls, the pictures. You're getting into the Jungle Navigation Company office. You're taking a tour of the jungle. I mean, that's the kind of mindset that I like to put myself in. Because if you're going to come to a park, you should play. If you're going to a park, you should try to, and I only say you should, there's no right way to do anything. Everybody's got their different way. Some people like coming here and go, look at this, look at the theming, look at this. It's like seeing it from a realistic perspective, I guess, instead of with the eyes of the imagination. But I would say for me, what I would recommend to people is to try to tap into that imagination, try to play along. We're going to go back this way. Try to play along as much as possible, because it really enhances it. It really makes you appreciate the details if you're kind of living the stories of the land. So when I get into that mindset, which I'm not always in, of course, because I come here a lot, or not here a lot, but into Disney parks a lot. When I am in that mindset, when I switch lands, it's quite jarring. Like, whoa! And much more so here than Disneyland, because Disneyland you can kind of see one land from another. But when you're in the Magic Kingdom in Florida or in Disneyland Paris, the lands are so huge, you really can get immersed. You can really tap into the imagination. And like this. Okay, so example, you could be here and say, oh, Aladdin, Genie, Princess Jasmine meet and greet. Lots of people, so crowded, it took forever for us to get our picture. Or you can go, oh, we're in a bazaar, we're in a market in a foreign country, and it's market day, and it's popular, there's all these people here. And just like, not to delude yourself, but just to sort of pretend and put yourself in that kind of creative mindset that that's what's going on here. And look at the Dole Whip stand. Look at the size of that Dole Whip establishment. You know what? I forgot all about Dole Whips. It's been so long since I've had a Dole Whip. I'm now sorely tempted to have a Dole Whip. Well, I was just delaying, procrastinating, stalling, and trying to bide time because I was hoping that we'd be standing here while Aladdin or the genie or somebody made their appearance, or Jafar maybe. Ooh, Jafar would be cool. He's got his own parking lot here, don't you know? Into there, but I don't think they're coming. They might still be a minute. So let's keep moving along. So here we go into this transition here between lands. Even the transitions between lands are so much longer. I think people, Disney World people who grow up in Disney World, who have that kind of eye for the detail of like transition between South Sea Island wood into old frontier wood and architecture. I don't know if they appreciate it because they've grown up here, just how much effort was put into transitioning you between lands and that sort of mental break there, that hallway, so that your imagination can shift from the South Seas or the jungles of the world to the old wild frontier. We're headed out of colonial America back there with Liberty Square and into the wild old West. Now the old West, technically, that term came about for the old West being like Ohio, Tennessee, even on into Missouri and the Mississippi River Valley and stuff like that. That was the old West. And then they would call the new West, which is like New Mexico, Colorado, California, that was the Wild West. That's where that term came from. Well, and you know, up north, Montana and all that kind of stuff. But we've just sort of made Old West kind of everything, and really more the western part as the old West disappeared. But when they designed this, they very much had pieces of the Old West in mind. Definitely some southern, we would think of now, southern and midwestern stuff, and the actual Old West. And then sort of as you go along, more and more into the kind of Southwest that we think of when we think of the Wild West today, because on the end, by the time you get to the end, you've got some adobe and some, what's it called? Some ceramic, that brick tile stuff that's everywhere. Whoosh. Sorry to swoop you around like this. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully the video is recording well. Like I said, still a new setup. I didn't have time to build this vlog to scale or to paint it. And there was a long time where I wasn't doing any vlogs at all. I don't consider Random Land a vlog at all. That is a show that is carefully constructed to tell stories and all that kind of stuff. It can be random. Sometimes it can be like a vlog, but it's not a vlog. This is more of a vlog, a walk and talk and unedited, hopefully, thing. As unedited and unstudied and off the cuff as possible. So here we go, Westward Ho. We're heading farther and farther west, and I love the way they designed it like that. So think about it. Liberty Square, you're starting with colonial America into the Tree of Liberty, into 1776, and then you're moving farther and farther west as it becomes more and more rugged, and then you start getting into adobe buildings, more Spanish-style architecture, and then that Spanish-style architecture blends in with the Caribbean architecture around the corner as you head towards Pirates of the Caribbean, which obviously that region, the Spanish colonial places, were settled earlier than the American colonial areas. And so it's a cool transition when you walk around this way between those architecture styles, and it always blows my mind. Now look at this. They kind of ruined it when they added this in terms of going farther and farther west. But of course, at the end of all that is Southern Mountain. So you've kind of whipped all the way back around to Georgia and the home of Joel Chandler Harris and the stories he knew so well from growing up or spending time amongst the, you know, enslaved peoples of the South, learning their legends, learning their tales, and those, of course, were taken by Walt Disney and some of his screenwriters who are a little deficient in tact and sensitivity, I guess you could say, when you're boiling down a very long, complicated story to a simple idea. Hello! Oh, that's awesome! But you boil it all down to a simple mix. Those are the stories he took and turned into the film, The Song of the South, which was pretty much rebooted sort of in the 70s and 80s. It kind of got a new popularity. And then when they needed to reuse those America Sings animatronics, which were what replaced Carousel of Progress in Disneyland, there are all these extra leftover animatronics, and Tony Baxter, the inventor, by the way, of Big Thunder Mountain, they were like, oh, we've been thinking about a flume ride. He's like, well, how about we could save a lot of money. We could get the mustache sweats when you come out to Disney World. How about we save a ton of money and reuse those animatronics from America Sings. I built the first Splash Mountain at Disneyland and then the Splash Mountain here. They intentionally left out Uncle Remus. They tried to leave out controversy and try to just do the animated portions, which have never really been controversial. There have been children's books and all that kind of stuff. At the time, they were popular with audiences of all shapes, sizes, and stuff. So times have changed and all that kind of stuff. I know the mountains were under a lot of stress. They were 30 years old. They were falling apart a little bit, especially here at Disney World. It's rough and tumble out here. And they were gonna have to be majorly invested in and reconstructed anyways. And why would you reconstruct a ride with, even if Splash Mountain was based on a movie that came out 30 years ago, why would you reconstruct a ride and pour all that money into it? Modern Disney doesn't think that way. Modern Disney thinks, well, if we're going to spend tons of money opening a new land or a new ride or a new experience, we're gonna throw money behind something new. They didn't build a classic Mickey ride, they built a Mickey Shorts ride, because Mickey Shorts are what's new. Or newer or newish, you know what I mean? They built a Tron roller coaster over there instead of building, I don't know, a Cinderella roller coaster. Weirdly, they built that Seven Dwarfs minecart ride, but I think that was sort of just the last of that. You know what I mean? They're not focused on classic stuff so much anymore, which you would think, why not the classics? But Tiana, who is coming in here and replacing good old Brer Rabbit, I think that is sort of a modern classic to a lot of people, and Disney has been pretty committed to diversifying the audience and making it reflect different demographics and stuff like that for a lot longer than just the controversy over Splash Mountain, which they sort of caused. They sort of put their foot in that by announcing the change when they announced the change, and then people kind of jumped on the back. Instead of being excited like, oh, we're getting a Tiana ride, everybody kind of turned around and looked at this and went, wait, is there something wrong with this? And it makes people think there's something a lot more wrong with it than there really was. Although, what was wrong with it leads to this whole interesting, long, deep conversation, lots of history and stuff like that. Just remember, nuance is very important, and understanding the full story when it comes to complicated things like this are very important. So just throwing out mean stuff about an old attraction, or people who were sad when it closed, that feels kind of rude and simplistic to me. It's a lot more nuanced than that. But I must say, having said all that, it was pretty exciting being here a couple of weeks ago for the closing of Splash Mountain. I mean, I was standing right here up at this bridge, looking this way, and there were just hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe 1,000, 1,500 people max, probably somewhere in the range between, I would say 800, 1,200 people out here, screaming and cheering for every log that came down. Like I said before, it was started by just a couple of girls down there who started clapping and whatever, and then all these people joined in, and especially when the final cast members came down and it was closed, and then it got quiet, and then the boats stopped. There were no more boats, just the water, and they were all waiting for the water to turn off, which of course it never did. And then the cast members came out of here, and they were just being treated like rock stars, and Disney, the management of Magic Kingdom let everybody kind of just wander out, still take pictures with the castle, even though the park had been closed for quite a while by then. It was kind of cool, because Disney didn't do any kind of merch or big send-off like that, but it was kind of a cool farewell party. It was like a good bon voyage party, I would say. Maybe there was a few people who treated it like a funeral, and then there was all kinds of troll comments online, like to other people. I didn't see too many for me, but I was like, oh, not these people mourning this ride or whatever. I didn't see a lot of mourning, to be honest with you. Maybe that's like, you know, hyperbolic internet kind of complaints. But when I was here, I just saw a lot more celebrating. Like, hey man, we had fun with this attraction and splashing down and going to the Briar Patch for 30 years. And it was a lot of heck of a fun thing to do. And now our friends, the Brer creatures, are going off to new pastures, greener pastures. And it was like a farewell party, so it was kind of cool. And it was really great seeing the cast members doing their thing all day. And by the end of the night, it really turned into almost a party for them. So look at this. I'm gonna hold my arm up as high as I can here. I'm not a wall peeper. I'm not gonna peep you over the wall. I don't stick cameras over the wall. I mean, Disney puts the walls there for a reason, but there are a lot of cracks in the armor. And last night I did manage to peer over. We'll go over there in a second, but I did manage to peer over the fence on the other side from a certain perspective, from a certain spot. And I could see enough to see the Brer Rabbit, the statue was gone, and Brer Bear. So this is so trippy because I was just here. It was just running just like old times. And obviously not that much has changed on the outside, but they did get these construction walls up since I was here. And this Southern, what's it called? Salt Company, Southern Dome Salt Company, those stamps were on the boards when they put them up in Louisiana. But they didn't have these signs up here yet when I was here last, or at least I don't remember them having them up here. They might have had them by the last day. They might have had one or two, but they didn't have them. Tiana's Foods. She's good at branding, Tiana. See, now I don't know if Brer Rabbit is on this sign behind here, but I doubt it, judging from the fact that they moved the big, tall Brer Rabbit sitting on top of, you know, Brer Bear, Brer Fox over there, statue in front. So let's walk over the bridge to Splash Mountain. If you saw any videos, not just mine, any videos of that last day, and I spotted myself in some other people's videos, TikToks and Instagram reels and stuff, this whole bridge was just packed with people. This whole land packed with thousands and thousands of people. People from Spain, people from Germany, families of every kind of, you know, ethnic background, and just everybody was here. Just all kinds of people, just a sampling of the world's population. A lot of Floridians as well. It was pretty trippy to be here and just see how many people were like, Splash Mountain's last day. And a lot of that, by the way, wasn't people mourning Splash Mountain. It's people who are Disney fans, people who are fans of the park. They want to see it as it was one last time, because one day, and now it already is, it's part of Disney's past. It's part of Disney's history, and especially once Tiana's here and people get used to that. They go, oh, there was this old ride here. There was this old ride, and it was Splash Mountain. You'd be trying to explain it. I mean, some of the little kids you see around here, some of the babies in these strollers, they will grow up, and this will be like the flying saucers is to me, or the mine train through Nature's Wonderland at Disneyland, or the swan boats out here at Disney World. It'll be an old, forgotten attraction that you'll have to explain to your kids, and they'll go, what? There was this thing, and why was it Brer Rabbit? What was the deal? So yeah, so right there was the big statue, like the big, almost totem pole-like carving of Brer Bear, Brer Fox, and Brer Rabbit sitting on top as they're looking for him. Tricking them once again, the trickster. That's the thing that comes from, actually has its roots in African folk tales, into the enslaved people's folk tales, and those tales were really about Brer Rabbit outsmarting the predators. Now, see what they were doing there? And it was a sort of surreptitious, under the radar way of kind of being rebellious and creating a culture where they could say what they needed to say about the people in charge who weren't so great, without exposing themselves, you know, through these cute animal stories. So there's a lot there, a lot of very interesting history there. Some controversy, but that itself can be interesting. You can learn a lot from stuff like that. But there's a wasp flying around here that was getting very close. I don't think it's Ant-Man's friend either. I think this is one of them mean, ornery southern wasps. Anyway, so yeah, so it'll be trippy to explain. So that's my kind of thing, is anything they change at the parks. Even stuff that I'm not a big fan of, which I was a Splash Mountain. I love this ride. It was fun to ride. But even stuff that I'm not a big fan of, I can't think, like Enchanted Tales with Belle or something, which I've never been in. If I heard it was going away, I'd want to go check it out. I think it's kind of more the thing, you take a little kid in there with you, especially when people take, like, you know, the kids that have gone through the princess thing, and the little princesses go and get their makeup in their hair, and then they go do the Belle thing and all that kind of stuff. So if I ever had a daughter or anything like that, I'd come and do that stuff. It'd be cool if I was with someone, or maybe like Allie's little cousin, Marley, you know, if I was ever, for some reason at Disney, if they ever came to Disney World and did that whole thing, maybe we'd go check out Enchanted Tales. But my point is, if something's disappearing, I want to check it out and see it and kind of get my, like, burn it into my mind, just the sort of layout before they change it all, you know, because I like that part. That's why I'm interested in, like, this is what got me interested in Disneyland history growing up. My grandparents had lived across the street since the year or two after it opened. My mom, my aunts, everybody grew up right there in that neighborhood, like I'm always saying. Because just for context, by the way, is always why I'm saying it's not a flex to grow up. You grow up where you grow up. But we did grow up right there, and the thing was about that is I would always hear their story. So every time I went to Disney World, I would hear, like, oh, you think Star Tours is cool? You should have rode Journey Through Inner Space. Man, that was the best ride. Or, oh, you know, Big Thunder's cool, but man, I really missed that mine train. I go, what mine train? So I grew up asking questions about what was there before, hearing about House of the Future, hearing about the ticket system and the old Fantasyland and all that kind of stuff. And And because I went to Disney Elementary School, then we had a library of Disney books at the studio, and the parks would donate. And so I just grew up seeing all those old classic Disney images of a Disneyland that I couldn't go to. And so when something changes in the park for me, and I know for thousands of other people, it's very interesting to go, oh, I want to go see it before it's changed, so that I kind of have that burden in my mind. Because earlier on in my life, there were long time periods where I couldn't go to Disney, couldn't afford any Disney parks. But I only say couldn't go to Disney if I'm referring to all Disney parks. Otherwise, I'd refer to the specific parks: Disney World, Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, you know, all that kind of stuff. People in Florida always say Disney. Y'all going to Disney today? A lot of people in the South too. You going to Disney? We're going to Disney. That grates on the Disneylander's ear, because if you grew up with classic Disneyland, it was always Disneyland, Disneyland, Disneyland. A full title. Disneyland, by the way, look at. No more Briar Patch sign. They got that off pretty quick. The Briar Patch store was closed forever. They never took down the sign until Splash Mountain closed, and then boom, gone. Anyway, Disneyland, Disneyland, Disneyland. But now, and it used to be that people from Disneyland had no idea what Disney World looked like. People from Disney World had no idea what Disneyland looked like. Now, starting with people like me and my friend Adam, and now expanding to lots and lots of other people, now there is a lot of videos and tours and walk-arounds and explanations about the differences, and people are very familiar. There's a whole online fan base of people who don't go to both parks but are very familiar with the changes and the differences between the parks and all that kind of stuff. And as that's happened, something unfortunate has happened, and we're losing our local dialects, because I've heard people in California start to say, oh, let's go on down to Disney. And they mean land, and I want to be like, you mean Disneyland? It was always fun that was our difference, that you said Disneyland, because it was really the one park, and it's even called Disneyland Resort, so you could apply that to DCA. But here at Disney World, I kind of understood why they say let's go to Disney, because you could mean Disney's Hollywood Studios, you could mean Animal Kingdom, you could mean Epcot. It's bigger, it's a bigger place, and for a lot of people, going to Disney out here means going to the resorts or going to the campground, and maybe only getting a day or two in the park. So there's a lot of different ways of vacation out here versus at home, where it's like, hey, let's go over to Disneyland, it's right there. So I don't know, I kind of like the old respect of the full title Walt gave it, you know, Disneyland over there, which, by the way, was first used for a little display of miniature dioramas, like miniature buildings. So not like doll houses, smaller than that, but similar. They had little pieces of furniture, little props. Walt Disney was very into miniatures. If you've never seen it, go back. It's old, but go back and look for it. It might be on this channel, actually. Go back and find my video of the Walt Disney Family Museum. I've done a few videos there, Randomland and Sometimes Vlogs. Including Allie's first appearance ever on the Sometimes Vlog. Our first date there, sort of accidental first date. Anyway, yes, the Walt Disney Family Museum has got some of Walt Disney's original miniatures that he built. So he loved tiny, miniature, cute things. Walt had a lot of money. He was excited to get his big train at Disneyland, but he also loved his little backyard trains and model railroads and all that kind of stuff. So Walt Disney liked his toys large, but also miniature at the same time. And there was a show that he participated in, his little miniature show featuring miniatures he built himself. It was called Disneylandia. Disneylandia. So when it came time for the TV show and the theme park, hey, Disneyland, perfect. So that's why I try, but even I now am falling into the trap sometimes of like, hey, I'm a Disney. Anyway, that's a whole long digression. So, folks, I am very tired. If I'm going to be wax personal here for a second, I'm pretty tired. More mentally than physically. I feel physically rejuvenated. I feel ready to go into 2023, the 10-year anniversary of Randomland this year, and get into all kinds of crazy adventures. Physically, but mentally, I think jet laggy wise too, bouncing back between these time zones. So going to Arizona to California, to Florida to California, to France to California, to Florida again. By the end of this week, it'll be 6 planes in 6 weeks, you know, bouncing each one to different time zones, each one at least 4.5 hours long. So I'm getting sort of mentally exhausted. Also going back between Disney Park, but they're all sort of different from each other. That's got me tripping out a little bit too. Look at that, by the way. Look at the Liberty Belle. B-E-L-L-E. Ah, très belle. Oui, oui, c'est belle. Vous êtes belle, Liberty. Oh, 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 oh. Ah, sous les ailes du Paris. Okay, anyway, so. Sorry, just having a moment. Look at that. Having a senior moment. I'm getting older too. There's a big birthday coming up for me this year. Let the ageism begin against me. I'm getting older now. I can't believe how long I've been doing this. 10 years of Randomland, 10 years old. Anyway, so to get personal for a second, I'm just a little mentally exhausted by the snap back and forth, the snap back and forth. And of course, Allie and I have been doing all this crazy stuff. And she went back already to enjoy school, but don't worry, I've got that Randomland episode on the way with proof of life. She's here because, of course, she's in her fashion design college and doing all that stuff. But yeah, so that episode will be up shortly. I'm sure this one will get out first. But yeah, not a lot of time to edit here because obviously I'm with a big group and I'm meeting them at night, and it's just, you've got like full days here, waking up super early, staying up. By the time you've showered or bathed in any way, gone to sleep, it's 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I'm up at 7, 8 o'clock to get into the parks, and then it's a long, long day without rest or sleep or without a break or stopping, because if I'm done here filming, I'm back in the hotel, meeting up with other people, gone to some restaurants and clubs and things like that with them, and then maybe back to filming or back to the hotel to edit for a while, and then go out and get dinner and all that kind of stuff. Allie was flying away, airport runs, all this craziness. And then sometimes like, oh my gosh, I was ready for bed. I was getting in the hotel early, 11 o'clock. I'm gonna go to sleep early. I'm finally gonna get an 8-hour sleep. And then, oh no, there's nothing to drink in here. And then you gotta go on a quest to get some water, or I ran out of toilet paper at the hotel. That is not something you wanna that is not something you wanna run out of. So I had to go down to the lobby and steal a roll from the public restroom. Ooh, I'm a stealer of toilet paper. A stealer of toilet paper. By the way, remember earlier in the pandemic, the crazy toilet paper shortages and how people, like, you had to lock up your toilet paper, like at the gas station, like almost had to. There were places where you had to ask for a restroom key if they even let you use the public restrooms. Remember that whole ordeal? No public restrooms anywhere. That was horrible for travel. If they would even let you use the restroom. Sometimes, some places you had to ask for TP because the TP was so rare. Man, that was crazy times. In fact, actually, the only reason we survived and always had toilet paper was because I was like, I'm not going to go out and buy a whole bunch of it and hoard it. That's going to cause a problem. Well, not everybody thought like me, and there was a problem. So I thought, dang, I should have hoarded it, I guess. But I managed to snag on Amazon like a big case of it. That was all that was left. This is if you bought a huge bulk thing of it. So I had to. And it was like bad gas station. Why are we talking about toilet paper? Well, anyway, it was bad gas station toilet paper, like the kind that just tears and rips and is no good. And we had that stuff. I mean, we were using that stuff forever. It was horrible. So the first chance we got when the good stuff came back, I was like, it was almost like buying someone a beautiful present. I got you this good toilet paper. Cottonelle is back, and Charmin and Scott. Great Scott. Actually, the bad toilet paper we had was Scott. I branded, I think, I can't remember, or maybe it was unbranded, I can't remember. Don't want to give Scott a bad name, after all, it's Great Scott. Anyway, all right, here we are on the rivers of America. We're just waiting till the crowd, the Red Sea parts, so we can take a little walk forward. There are some country bears up there on the roof. I see Lips McGraw up there. I don't see Big Al. I don't see Big Al, but sometimes you get Big Al up there. Look at that. Any country bears will do. Beautiful. So that's kind of a COVID leftover thing, because I don't remember often, every once in a while, but I don't remember ever seeing the country bears up there. Only on the rarest of occasions I ever see anyone up there until COVID, and then that was sort of the way you did meet and greets with characters. They found lots of high spots and high balconies to put the bears onto so that everyone can get a picture, everyone can wave, everyone can get a little attention from the characters, the Disney characters, without having to get close and, you know, at the time they were thinking put everybody at risk and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool that it's left over. I actually kind of prefer sometimes, I like the huggy meet and greets, but I kind of prefer or really enjoy the social distance meet and greets like that, because it's easier to get, like, you know, go like this and take a fun selfie picture with them versus standing in line, waiting for the one-on-one interaction. If you want to take a picture of the character, you don't really want to be in it, you just want a picture of the character, then it's kind of awkward because you don't have to stand in line if you don't want to meet him, but then someone else is in the picture, you're waiting between pictures, and then sometimes the cast members come and yell at you, why are you taking pictures of somebody else? I'm not trying to take pictures of somebody else, I'm trying to take pictures of the character, I'm trying to wait for that gap between the thing, you know, all that kind of stuff. So and there was a time period where at Disney World, unlike Disneyland, at Disney World, you could not take a picture of the characters if they were with somebody else. I think there was, you know, somebody did something bad, obviously, and there was a time period where they were very sensitive about, like, why are you pointing a camera at anybody else's family or, you know, God forbid, kids or anything like that. And so it was a little bit weird. That was like kind of when I started filming at Disney World, it was still like that. And it was very difficult to like show the characters or show the stuff. They're used to filming now. There's so much stuff on YouTube now. They understand like what it is. And you know, they only stop people that are obviously doing something weird or creepy. They don't stop people who are doing something that's obviously, you know, non-controversial or whatever. But there was a time period where any cameras here, oh, and then the flip side of that, the other side of that was any cameras here, they kind of perceived as like, what are you doing, filming our security operations or something? Like they were very suspicious. That comes from a whole post 9/11 mentality that really didn't change until sort of the vlogging thing. And if you were like big tourist dad with your flip-flops on, or overseas tourist with a handy cam, or any kind of like person that they would, I guess in their mind, the stereotype of what they expected to see with a video camera, then it was fine. But if you were just young in any way, young-ish even, like me, or you know, I guess punk looking, or whatever you looked like, and you were pointing a camera, they were weird about it for a long time. Anyway, the parade is about to come. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go get some food. I at least wanted to bring you guys here on the Sometimes Vlog, have a little walk and talk, a little chat. Oh, one more thought before I go, but let's go back around to this path over here, and I'll give you a little the POV as we walk. Uh-oh, I've been trapped in a rope. I've been trapped in a rope. Oop. Excuse me, sorry. Come through. What was I saying? Anyway, so I'm gonna get some food. I'm glad I brought you guys here on the Sometimes Vlog. I at least wanted that. Look at these, by the way. The Mickey balloon light up things. They look so cool at night. And I know they're corny, and I know that I don't need this, but even I want this for some reason. Like the 7-year-old in me is dying to have one of these. Dying to have one of these. I'll never own one, but I want one just to look at. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not sure how many adventures we're gonna be able to pump out this week, because I still am on sort of borrowed time on someone else's schedule and all that kind of stuff. That is ending very soon though. And after my birthday, which is March 25th, by the way, you wanna send a card, send it to the old P.O. box if you want. Ask for that in the Sometimes Mob. Just go over to the Sometimes Mob, which is a Facebook group for the Sometimes Vlog, and all of our Random Land friends. That link will be in the description of this video. You can go down there. And by the way, that's where you should leave a comment. We love hearing from you. Repost a video or a screenshot of the part of the video you want to comment on in there, and get the conversation going. We love having people over there. And we love when Random Land friends meet each other. Sometimes mob, vlogger thing, people, friends. All of you guys meet each other, and people have made friendships and gotten married and all kinds of crazy. You never know, you can find the love of your life in this Facebook group. So go over there, let me know what's going on.
Justin!
Hey, how's it going, man?
Can we get a sick pic?
Sure. As long as you don't mind them recording. Is that okay?
Not.
Okay, just checking. Okay, look, we're getting, oh, there it is. Hold on, let me see. Oh, then we don't want to see the camera in the, there we go.
Get in there.
We're gonna get
there.
a triple sick
You know we
pic.
love you.
Okay, which side? Oh, you're going on the left, so I'm gonna go over here. Sick pic!
pic.
Wait, what are your names?
Hunter.
Hunter?
Dawn.
Hunter Dawn! It sounds like one person's name.
Yeah.
I'm Hunter Dawn, you know.
And we just were going on the,
Going on Big Thunder.
and I said, this is just like the old
Yeah, the old West. Oh, you guys should ride Splash Mountain. Oh, wait, you can't. Well, nice to meet you guys.
Nice
to meet you.
Enjoy the old West.
Enjoy your show a lot.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm just wrapping one up now, so you got it in the tail end. Bye, guys. That was awesome. Oh, okay, so my final thought that I was gonna say when I came over here was this. Yeah, so go to the Sometimes Mob, leave a comment, have a little chat over there, but look at this. Danger, alligators and snakes in the area. You guys remember what happened here? A little bit of a tragedy. I don't like to do the whole tragedy thing. I don't do the whole clickbait thing, which is why all my videos, all the adventures and everything have from the very beginning been supported. I don't want to even do clickbait. I don't want to get, it's not trying to drive ads or viral videos. It's all supported, like PBS. It's fan funded by Patreon, and eventually, hopefully, memberships at randomland.com. So go to randomland.com, bookmark it. We got links to the Patreon of this. If you want to become a member, you can go do that if you want to help support. So there's a side note for you. There's a commercial for you. Not intentional, but that's on my mind. There was, of course, a sad situation involving a family and an alligator in the Big Lagoon. You can't stop nature, even at Disney World, even in a place as artificial and as imaginative as this. You can't stop it. There are snakes here. Snakes have dropped out of bushes and things like that and scared people, you know, giving them a little chest pains and all that kind of stuff. So, but after the alligator incident in question, they put up all these signs, these danger alligators and snakes in area signs, pretty much near every body of water at Disney World, which is funny because now, I mean, then it was in everybody's mind. They went, oh, of course, you know, we got to be careful and safety and stay away from the water and all that kind of stuff, or be aware. But now that people have forgotten about that incident, forgotten about that, that any incidents like that, and they've dredged all the ponds and tried to get rid of as many critters as they could, I hear people walk by these signs all day and talk about tragedy turning into comedy, and they're always like, oh, there's alligators, and they get all excited, and they're looking, hoping for alligators. So rather than like, oh no, there's alligators, we better be careful, everyone's like, oh, there's alligators? And you see people see those signs, and they come up, and they're looking for the where is he? Where's Arnie the alligator? You know, that kind of thing. So it's funny because it sort of has like, it's lost its immediate context that it had, and it's sort of different now. And it's funny, so keep an eye out for that if you're ever out here walking around on this path, especially. You'll see kids and family, people are, they'll see this stuff and, you know, oh, there's alligators, and start looking around. So I got distracted because I was just thinking about this. The father of waters, the mighty Mississippi. Look at that little trickle there. From what I understand, at one point it used to be a wider looking. Under this, technically a bridge because it goes over the creek, as you come in from the Colonial, Liberty Square, crossing westward, crossing the Mississippi, or maybe in the old times the Ohio or Illinois River, into the old Wild West. The old new Old West. Yes. So that's it. That's supposed to represent sort of the symbolic Mississippi River. And you'll notice on one side, the little cypress knees, right? And then you'll notice even the trees change. So you'll see some kind of swampy, sort of East Coast Southern. And then as you go this way, you get more Western. You get the... Well, that was weird. See, I gabbed so long, I done run out of batteries. So now all I've got is my shaky cell phone footage to wish you adieu. I was gonna say, even the plants were themed and planned out, but of course, over the years, sometimes that stuff can get kind of sloppy, and then they'll have to wait for a big refresh or a big remodel. Anyway, I guess that's all we had time for. You've done your duty. Go home, sleep well. Make sure you're subscribed here and over on the main channel. Check out the links below in the description. It's a personal favor to me, and I will see you all a little later. Yes.